introduce yourself so it's by your first and last name for us.
All right, Officer Michael Pecha, P-E-C-H-A, Public Information Officer of the Omaha Police Department.
What was the original call today?
So today, officers were called at 1:43 in the afternoon to 1200 South 13th Street for what began as a crowd disturbance call with eventually shots fired being reported. Officers arrived on scene, determined that a brown Kia was a suspect vehicle in this. Officers witnessed that vehicle leaving the area and attempted to make a traffic stop on that vehicle. The driver of the vehicle refused to stop for officers, leading the officers on a pursuit that eventually ended near 33rd and Myrtle. At that point, at least three occupants fled from the vehicle and were taken into custody quickly. Officers continued to set up a perimeter and search the area. At this point, that is still is wrapping up now, but it's still ongoing. So at this point, the investigation is still ongoing. It's still in the early stages. If anyone has any information, we always ask them to contact Crime Stoppers at 444-STOP.
So everyone in custody, no one outstanding?
There may be a fourth suspect. We're still trying to determine for sure if there is an additional suspect or not, but we have taken 3 people into custody at the conclusion of the pursuit.
Has the gun been recovered?
I believe we did recover a gun, but I would have to confirm that for you.
Was there a shooting victim at the gas station?
So we did not find a victim at the gas station as far as I know. There was a call at about 2 o'clock for a walk-in shooting victim at Nebraska Med Center. We are still investigating at this point whether that is related to this incident or if that's a separate incident.
So shots fired, no one hit to your knowledge?
Not to my knowledge. Again, we are going to investigate and see if the shooting victim that arrived at the Med Center was related to that shooting call or if that's a completely separate incident.
The medical center, there's also a mental scanner system. Is that related to anything?
Additionally, at I think 247, we had a call for a helping officer at the Med Center that indicated that there was a person armed with a knife that then had barricaded themselves inside of a vehicle. That also is under investigation at this point to determine if that is related to the initial shots fired incident or if that's a separate incident.
Who chased? Who pursued? Officers and vehicles, Able 1?
I don't know that. I know they called up Able 1. I don't know if they made it before the conclusion of the pursuit. But it would have been Uniform Patrol Bureau officers on the ground.
13th, one more time. 13th and streets?
Where the original call, it was in the 1200 block of South 13th.
Any information on suspects?
I don't have the information on the suspects at this point. I'm sure as they've been transported down to central headquarters for questioning. When those interviews are complete, we should have more information at that point.
The area in the neighborhood, do you believe it's all safe there for neighbors to come in?
Yes, yeah, we did a thorough search. We had a lot of resources, a lot of officers on scene, so we believe we did a thorough search. And once we wrap up the scene, the neighbors should be able to go about their day.
No, it's Able 1. I understand that take off due to the wind and all that. Was able to take off?
I don't know for sure if they were able to make it up or not. I know they'd been requested, but I think there were issues with the wind. I don't know. I'd have to check into that for you. I believe there were K-9 officers that responded to the scene at the end of the pursuit.
Is 33rd and Myrtle a house?
I don't
Taken into custody in a house?
I don't know if they were in a house or if they were. I believe there was maybe an alley nearby. So.
Could you find out first?
Mm-hmm.
Just to reiterate, what's the current situation this time?
Again, at this point, we're investigating a large disturbance with shots fired on South 13th Street, south of Pacific. That is still under investigation, but we do have 3 suspects from that incident in custody, at 33rd, near 33rd and Myrtle or 34th and Lafayette, where we conducted a thorough search of large areas. And at this point, I believe that the 33rd and Myrtle scene is breaking down, and officers are returning to service. However, I do believe 13th Street is still blocked off due to the scene there.
What's the nature of the disturbance initially?
It was a crowd disturbance and then shots fired.